name is Melissa Carty. I work with Cullman Electric Cooperative, and I'm also the chair-elect for the Chamber for next year. This year's current chair is Charlie Neesmith, and he sends his regrets that he could not be here today. In fact, y'all probably get used to me being at Fourth Friday Luncheon, because I think this is the second time I've had to do this. Before we get started, I'd like to remind you, please, to turn all of your electronic devices off or to meeting mode, please. And I'd like to thank all of you for attending today's meeting. I think you're going to enjoy the program. It is brought to us by it's hosted by the Chamber's Health Services Committee and Cullman Regional Medical Center. I started to say Cullman Electric Cooperative. Cullman Regional Medical Center is our sponsor. I'm going to ask Lindsay Dawson now. She is the Public Relations Coordinator with Cullman Regional Medical Center and the Chair of the Chamber's Health Services Committee. And I'm going to ask her to come forward and give us our invocation and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Melissa. If everyone will bow our heads. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for the wonderful community in which we live. Thank you for the wonderful community programs and resources that our citizens work so hard to provide for those that are in need. Please bless the speakers that we have here today and help us understand the many community resources that are available. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm Lauren Brown.
She'll be back a little bit to March's program. Let me say again, thank you to Cullman Regional Medical Center for being our sponsor for today's event. At this time, before we get started, I know you've all read in the paper that Kurt Manser is leaving us. He's taken a new position, and we have an interim chamber president. I was going to introduce you to Leah Bowden.
They're still outside, yapping.
Tell them anything about it. Kirk is very good to send us written out comments, so I just took the liberty to write in some comments. There's Leah.
Can other people come in? While
Yes, please do.
Y'all come on in.
Come on in, find a seat. There's some chairs over here. Leah Bowden, standing back here, is to my right, your left, is the interim president of the chamber, and I'm sure you read about her in the paper and her credentials. Under Leah's leadership, the chamber will continue to be in good hands, and we are excited that she's going to work with us during this interim time as we look to find a new president. Thank you, Leah, and everybody here I know will give you their good support. We appreciate what you're doing.
We'll hold y'all to that now, all
right? I can tell you she has already, as I say, hit the ground running. Was this your first full week or second week you're into it? And she has not stopped. 5 days. She has not stopped since she started. So we appreciate that. And then before we go any further, let me take this opportunity to express our gratitude from the Chamber to Kurt Manser. As you know and you read, he is taking the job as the president of the Shelby County Chamber of Commerce. And this is a great opportunity for Kurt. Shelby County, if you're aware, is the fastest growing county in the state of Alabama. And so we wish him well. Under your leadership for the past 8.5 years, the Chamber has excelled, and we appreciate all that you did. And we hate to see you go because you've done such a good job. But thank you for all that you did for 8.5 years, and we wish you the best in your new endeavor. You probably received an invitation through email, but on Tuesday of this coming week, on the 26th, Tuesday, at the Chamber, from 3 to 6, we're going to have a farewell reception for Kirk. You're all invited to drop by anytime between 3 and 6. Tell him goodbye and wish him well on his new adventure. Thank you very much. Now I'd like to ask Lori Strain. Oh, there she is. If she'll come forward and talk to us a few minutes.
I'll keep it brief because I think I'm right before lunch and I know y'all are ready to eat. But I just wanted to bring to your attention the brochure that's on your table. This is from the new wound care center that CRMC has recently opened. We've been open about 5 weeks and proud to say that we have hit the ground running also, Leah, so I can relate to that. We've got about 30 active patients that come in on a weekly basis, and we've also got hyperbaric oxygen, and there's a picture in the brochure for those of you that aren't familiar with that. Or if you didn't get to make it out to our open house, I encourage you to call and you can come by sometime and take a tour. The hyperbaric oxygen chambers are probably what most people want to come in and see and talk about. It is like what you've seen divers once they come up, and sometimes they are having trouble because once we go into the chamber, they're under like a 2 atmospheric pressure. So it's about that being 33 under the pressure under sea level. So it's pretty interesting. It's amazing to me how much wound care has advanced. Even back, some of our nurses was telling me recently when she worked in a nursing home how they used to put oxygen from a nasal cannula over the wound, and that helped. And here we are today with a monoplace, huge chamber that we're putting them in, and they're breathing 100% oxygen and have seen wonderful results. So if you know of anybody or out in the community, you do not have to be physician referred. You can receive referral. And we accept those. We're open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. We have an amazing physician panel and are hoping to continue to add to that. We have Dr. Arugio and then Dr. Cunningham and also Dr. Moody on staff. Dr. Moody is serving as our medical director. So I think we've got a great group. The things I love most about it is, you know, the hospital's motto is good medicine close to home. And the thing that I have enjoyed hearing already from our patients as young as 23, and I think our oldest that came in today was 96, was, well, just treat me like I'm family around here. I feel like I'm part of your family. And it makes me so proud to say that I'm part of Cullman Regional Medical Center and the team at the Wound Care Center that's making our community continue to feel like they're at home. So thank you very much, and I hope you enjoy your meal.
Thank you, Lori, and we appreciate CRMC and the Wound Center and everyone that's here for sponsoring today's event. But we appreciate all that CRMC does for our community. We are so very fortunate to have a medical center of this caliber, with medical staff of this caliber. I have lived here all my life, like many of you. I've lived here 11, almost 12 years, and I come from another area, and I can tell you, you or we are so blessed in this community to have a medical center like we have. And thank you, and thank you for sponsoring so many of the chamber events throughout the year. Now we're going to enjoy our meal, and in a few minutes we'll begin the rest of the program.
We have 2 presentations today, and our first presentation will be on Cullman County Project Lifesaver Program, a partnership between the Pilot Club of Cullman, the Cullman County Sheriff's Department, and the Cullman City Police Department. Here to tell us a little more about the program is Camilla Hendricks, who is the committee chair for the Project Lifesaver Board, and Sergeant Rick Blackwood, team leader for the Project Lifesaver. Good afternoon. My name is Camilla Hendricks, and I'm a member of the Pilot Club of Cullman. One of our main projects is to be the sole financial supporter for Project Lifesaver of Cullman. So my purpose today is to simply introduce you to Lieutenant Blackwood, who is the person we consider to be the owner of all knowledge concerning Project Lifesaver.
No pressure.
On behalf of the Sheriff's Office, Sheriff Mike Rainey, thank you for having me here today. This program has been a very important program for Cullman County, Sheriff's Office, and people of Cullman County for some time now. The program is designed to bring our loved ones home, and that's our motto. It is for all kind of patients, autism, kids with autism, wander off. What the program is, it's a transmitter that's placed on the client, and it puts out a signal every second. And we have receivers that monitor that signal. If the person wanders off, the caregiver will notify us. Hopefully, we should respond. We should be there within 10 minutes throughout the county. At the time, we had 7 functional receivers, but right now we're down to 4. They have, just like anything else, equipment don't last long. The 5 receivers that we did have, they're obsolete now. We got 2 new receivers. I brought one of them with me to show y'all. But how the bracelet works, we put the bracelet on their wrist or their ankle of the client. Like I said, if the caregiver notifies us that the client has wandered off, we respond. Not just one officer, everybody that has a receiver responds, and also several other officers. We take the matter very seriously. Because I've been with the sheriff's office 27 years. I've served it proudly, and I've been honored to serve y'all. I've been on several calls where people have wandered off, and the results didn't end too pleasant to the family. A lot of them have passed away. It was too late. And, so this program is designed to stop that. Once we respond, we get the equipment set up. Every call we've been responding so far in Cullman County, we have found the client within 30 minutes. So it usually takes sometimes 8 hours to find somebody without this equipment, and sometimes not at all. And but it's all kinds of patients. It's very important because my grandmother had Alzheimer's. My mother currently got Alzheimer's. My father had passed away about 3 years ago. He had dementia, and he was a client. He had a bracelet on. Luckily, we didn't have to use it. But I know how important this program is because it has touched me here, and it's very important. And it's been important to the sheriff. We have sort of reconditioned the program since Sheriff Rainey's took office. There's some stuff that needs to be improved. We realized that, and we're working on it. It's getting better. Myself and Sergeant Allen went to Lynchburg, Virginia, and we became certified instructors. So we can teach and certify other officers to operate this equipment that we have. We currently, we certified 20 officers this year. So we have 5 city officers, and the rest of them are county deputies that certified to operate this equipment. So at any given time, the equipment's available. We got officers out here that certified to operate it, to find our loved ones and bring them home safe. I'll show you the transmitter. You don't have to excuse me, I'm not a professional speaker. Like I said, I've been doing this 27 years, and I usually yell in that paper or give them But all jokes aside, this is a transmitter. It's pretty much about the size of a large watch. Like I said, there's a vinyl band that we put on it. It either go on the wrist, but a lot of the patients usually wind up taking it off, cutting it off. We have better results putting it on their ankles, even with the children. So right now, currently in Cullman County, we got 22 clients. We did have an average of 30 clients, but some of them have passed away or some of them in the nursing home. So this transmitter alone is $280. So without ladies of the College Club, with this program, probably wouldn't be here. So let's give them. They've been our sponsor since, I believe, since 2005, 2006. Like I said, without them, we wouldn't have this equipment. It's pretty expensive, they can tell. Now, this is the PL 5000. But anyway, this is the receiver, and it'll pick up the signal, and this transmitter will put out a chirp every second. This receiver, we turn it to the frequency. Every client's got a different frequency. We work off the 216 frequency, so there's thousands of frequencies out there, so we don't run out of frequencies. Like I said, the range is a mile, so we have to get pretty close, but our cars are also now the Yaga antenna, and we put on the roof of the car. Now the range on that's limited, it's limited to a quarter of a mile. So, but that helps us when we're mobile. But once we get there, we do pick up signal. Like I said, we get usually a mile range out of this. And we're luckily, we're fine within 30 minutes, and it's been proven so far. It's been proven that all over the United States. The program began in West Virginia. It's been around for a long time. It's a good program. It has saved a lot of people's lives. We've been called out twice this year, and we found both clients within 30 minutes. We've been called out more than that, but they've not been clients. So we try to get the word out there. We do a lot of speaking engagements. So we currently just signed somebody up there for yesterday. But there's a lot more people in Cullman County that needs this program. With y'all's help, just contact the sheriff's office. I know somebody that's got Alzheimer's or autism or some kind of mental disorder. And we'd be more than happy to go out there and talk to the family and try to get them into the program. Now this receiver, like I said, the money, $280, this right here is $1,500. So we come with a kit, the headphones, the battery charger, and everything. So with y'all's help, we'll try to keep this program going, and I thank y'all for your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you to the Pilot Club for providing us funding for that program. I know that it's definitely something that we need in our community. Our next speaker is going to be Mavis Barton. She has been the Relay for Life event co-chair for the past 2 years, I think. And she's just going to share a little bit, and then we're going to turn it over to Mr. Gary Cornelius.
Like you said, my name is Mavis Martin, and I'm not a public speaker. You probably recognize me from saying, "Next, I can help you for your next card pack, please." So I'm thinking a little off track. But I am the co-chair of Relay for Life and have been for the past 2 years, me and Tim Kelly, and it's been our honor to serve the community with this event. We just want to say a big thank you to the chamber and to the community, because without the community support, this event would not be a success. And for those of you who know me, I'm very passionate about it. I'll try real hard not to cry. Because we're here for our survivors, that's the reason we do this. If you've not been touched by cancer, you're a blessing. Just consider you to have a blessing. As you know, last year, Relay faced a very big adversity, and we moved locations because of the tornado. And the committee made your commitment to move up to the fairgrounds, and it came another beautiful storm. So we didn't get to have it a full event last year, but it was one of the most moving ceremonies we've ever had. So the committee and the teams elected to have it again there this year. And for me personally, it was one of the best we've ever had. If you were there, you experienced a really moving, it was like it was there for the survivors, and that's what it's about. And without the community and the committee, we could not put this event on. And so I would like to take this time to not only thank y'all, but to thank the committee members that came out today. So if you're a committee member, will you please stand? Because believe it or not, Tim and I could not do that. We had a great year this year. You know, we've not met our goal, but our fiscal year ends August the 31st, and we still have some great events planned to reach that goal. One is this weekend. If you shoot archery, contact me this weekend. weekend out around Jones Chapel area. We put out, you know, as opposed to Heritage or the fairgrounds, to the teams. And so if y'all are interested, if you were there at the event this year and want to give us your input, please let us know, because we're here to please the community and our survivors. So if you have any input, we would greatly appreciate it. Let's see. I have been involved with Relay 4 since 1997. Okay? And my other cohort, Kelly, he has been involved since 1985, I believe. 95. So between the two of us, we have 30 plus years serving this cause. So we want you to know that our heart is there. We welcome any of you to come and join it. But Gary is going to tell you about the services that are here locally in Cullman, because as we raise money for research, you know, we all want to know, why not here in Cullman? Why can't we keep this money in Cullman? You will be so surprised at how much money stays in this community and how many people benefit from the money that we raise as a community. So with that being said, I'm going to introduce Gary Cornelius. He is a survivor himself. He can tell you a little bit about himself. And again, I just want to give a huge thank you to each and every one of you for the support that you give this cause.
Good afternoon. Thanks for letting us come tell you a little bit about our passion and about our event. I got involved with Relay for Life and Cancer Society when I moved to Cullman in 1995, because I worked for an employer at the time that said, okay, if you're going to be part of my management team, this is what you do. And not only do you do this, but you're a team leader. So welcome. You know, it's kind of like the Wendy's new guy commercial. You know, that all of a sudden, okay, here you go. It became personal to me in 2002. I had several family members involved with the cancer battle. My mother at the time was a 2-time cancer survivor. I'd had 3 grandparents involved in cancer. I had 2 uncles involved in cancer, so it had touched our family. I never forget telling my oncologist when I was first diagnosed, I said, I always knew I'd meet you, I just didn't know when, because of the way our family history was. In 2002, shortly before my 40th birthday, when you're Teflon, and you've got a great marriage, a great career, a 7-year-old child at home who you couldn't be more proud of, and all of a sudden the doctor looks at you and says you have cancer. You quickly feel that Kevlar fall to the ground. I found myself needing Relay to walk that first survivor lap in 2002, to get involved more actively, and to find a way to give back. When we were faced with that, the other thing that came to realization was when we moved to Cullman in 1995, it was to prepare us for 2002. This community rallied around me and my family in a way that anywhere else wouldn't. There's a young lady by the name of Anita Terry in our town who reached out to me 3 different times through 3 different avenues before she finally got me to call her back, because she said, tell him I've been where he is and I want to talk to him. There's a gentleman by the name of Steve James who told my cousin, who's a close friend of his and very involved in Kenya, said, tell him I want to talk to him because I was where he was at. I was where he is 12 years ago, and I've survived it, and I've lived to talk about it. The way this community rallied around my family is incredible. I had coworkers bring a Valentine's basket to my daughter that was bigger than anything my wife and I had ever bought her, because we were in Omaha, Nebraska undergoing treatment. I had my employer rally around me. People we didn't know reached out to our family. So Cullman is a special place, and I don't think we really realize it until we need that special place. I hope and I pray every day that you don't find yourself needing Cullman the way we did, but just know it's there for you when you need it. ACS was that same outlet for me. You know, we all look at ACS as it's this huge national organization, and how does it touch my life? It touched my life because when I had an immediate recurrence in January 2003, I had a stem cell transplant with high-dose chemo. When I signed in at the University of Nebraska Medical Center in Omaha, Nebraska to start that process, they said, here, we need you to sign this clinical trial paperwork. And you know, I've been hearing about bone marrow transplants and stem cell transplants for quite a while. And they said, oh yeah, it's in the final year of being a clinical trial. I said, really, who funds it? And they said, it is solely funded by American Cancer Society. So I stand here today as a survivor, having been a local beneficiary of American Cancer Society. We joke about the fact that I'm the $500,000 man to Blue Cross Blue Shield. Well, the reason Blue Cross Blue Shield had to pay that money is because ACS funded the research that provided that treatment. ACS funded the research that allows me to stand here with you today. So, yeah, it's personal with me. It's passionate with me. And I can tell you, Gidget will tell you, I'm all about the money. And the reason I'm all about the money is I'm a product of that money standing here today. We probably all are without even realizing it. I'm going to get a little interactive for a minute. I'm going to ask you to stand up as we get to certain things. I'm going to make about 5 or 6 different statements. And if your answer is yes, I want you to stand with me for a minute. And stay standing until we're completely done. First statement, I or someone I love or know has had a PSA screening for prostate cancer. Second statement, I stopped smoking because of studies or information that showed its link to lung cancer, or someone that I know stopped smoking for those reasons. Third statement, I have had some form of chemotherapy or someone I know or love has. I have undergone a pap smear test during my annual exam or someone I know or love has. I have undergone a mammogram or someone I know or love has. Okay, so look around the room. Everybody standing has been touched by American Cancer Society right here in our community. Because each one of those things, and please have a seat now. Because each one of those topics, each one of those areas, are areas that ACS funds on an annual basis. Their funding makes pap smears and mammograms available at your annual checkups. Their funding pays for PSA tests. Their funding for research has developed a tremendous amount of chemotherapy that fights cancer today. You know, one of the neat emotional times for me, radiation was actually more emotional for me than chemo, because you lay down on that table and they close that 18-inch lead door, and you realize they're doing something to you that they can't expose themselves to all day long. And I was on the way to Birmingham for radiation one day, and I was on the phone with my mother, who's was a cancer mentor for me, considering she's now a 3-time breast cancer survivor. And she said, son, I'm going to say something to hopefully calm you down. She said, 20 years ago this week, I started a new clinical trial treatment. And it was specifically for breast cancer at the time, but it was brand new to the clinical trial phase. And I was one of the first in our community to try it. And I said, really, Mom, what was that? She said, radiation. So in 20 years, the money that funds these things and the research. I'll give you another example. When I went through chemotherapy, when I went through treatment, they insisted I have radiation for Hodgkin's lymphoma. I had stage 4 Hodgkin's lymphoma, and my oncologist kept telling me, chemo is the treatment, radiation is the insurance policy. So we're going to treat you and beat the disease with chemo. We're going to write the insurance policy that doesn't come back with through radiation. 10 years later, they no longer do radiation following chemotherapy for Hodgkin's lymphoma, because they found now that it is too damaging on the body to put the body through that if chemo can defeat the disease, and then they can keep radiation as a secondary treatment in the event of recurrence. So not only has the research money paid for the specific treatment, but it pays for how the treatment impacts the patients. There are several other services that the funding pays for outside of research. And I'll give you some prime examples of how people in Cullman have benefited. I personally have benefited through a program called the Hope Lodge. All over the United States, Cancer Society has what's called Hope Lodges, and they're close to the major cancer treatment centers, and they're basically free of charge for cancer patients. And you can go stay there the same way you'd stay at a Marriott or a Hilton or a Hampton or a Motel 6, and they'll leave the light on for you. And they have kitchens, and they have, you basically, it's almost like staying in an extended stay or renting a condominium for vacation. You have access to all the amenities you need, but with it being free, there's not a lot of free amenities. You know, but they have kitchens, large kitchens that you have access to. They have laundry facilities, and they open their doors free of charge for those who are in this fight against cancer. Stayed in one myself in Omaha, Nebraska. We as a group have supported some of the people staying in the one in Birmingham by taking dinners down and things of that nature, and just spending time with them. Another service is called Look Good, Feel Better, and unfortunately, as you can tell, it's only for females, but had I been able to go through it, I might have looked better than I do today. You know, one of the biggest things in a cancer battle, and we learned this probably most with my daughter, is it's an emotional battle too. And one of the emotional fights you fight is, how's it going to impact me? How the way I look, the way I feel about myself. I think the thing we realized with Hannah, who was 7 at the time, was that once she got past the "is daddy gonna die" question, and yes, my wife had to field it the very first night, but once she got past the "is daddy gonna die" question, the next thing is she equated my looks and how I looked with my health. Had a very close friend who was diagnosed with breast cancer 2 weeks later, and her two children did the same thing. For us as patients, it's very important to try to maintain as much normalcy as we can. Look Good, Feel Better does that. There's a 35-year-old lady in Cullman, Alabama, who's a very close friend of mine, who's been very involved in my daughter's life, who 2 years ago was faced with breast cancer, had a double mastectomy, lost all her hair, eyebrows, eyelashes, everything. It was important to her, and Look Good, Feel Better helped her. And it's a local program that allows people to find out how to treat their skin, that provides wigs for people who feel the need for it, who provides instruction in how to take care of yourself while your body's undergoing one of the most toxic treatments you can take in chemo. Another one is transportation grants. There's a 79-year-old lung cancer patient right now in Cullman, Alabama. He actually lives at Crane Hill, who is enjoying transportation grants, helping pay for their gas. And when you think about a 79-year-old and a 76-year-old wife on a fixed income, and gas, thank goodness, is coming back down, but gas at one point almost $4 a gallon, and they're driving to and from treatment on a fixed income, and you know, how can they do it? They can do it through ACS and transportation grants that are readily available for cancer patients in our community. From September to date, almost 1,000 families in Cullman County have received services from American Cancer Society. So yes, it touches our community. It touches our lives every day. Just as we saw a minute ago, we're all touched by cancer. It is the one biggest killer in healthcare issues today in our nation. And it takes money to fight it. One reason why it's so important that we fund it is when you think about the way the government funds it. Did you know that the National Institute of Health and National Cancer Institute, do you know what department of our government they report up through? The Department of Defense. When you think of all the fronts that our Department of Defense budget is being pulled to, and all the fronts in the nation or in the world that we're faced with right now, and you think of the budget restraints that get put on, do you think that the fight against cancer is really, that becomes a top line priority for the Department of Defense? No, it's supporting our troops, it's supporting what we're doing around the world to maintain peace. So that puts the burden and onus back on us and back on organizations like American Cancer Society more so. It takes my money, it takes your money, it takes our corporate money, as well as our government money, to fight the one biggest taker of life that our country faces. I want to thank you for the role that Cullman's played in that, both on the emotional side for me personally and my family, as well as the financial side. When you understand that the treatment that I personally went through is bigger, it costs more than 1 year's goals for Cullman County Relay for Life? How many Gary Corneliuses are out there that need you? Thank you very much for the support Cullman County gives Relay. I ask you to continue doing that, and we are always open for your support and the opportunity to get you involved in this fight. Thank you very much.
Thank you to all of our speakers, the Pilot Club for being in partnership with the Lifesaver, Project Lifesaver, for the American Cancer Society. I'm gonna go off notes here, Kirk, if you're in the room, I'm off notes for a minute. I think you have touched us and given us a very informative program and made us think. I'm a two-time cancer survivor, Gary. He's my neighbor, and I didn't know that about him. But the American Cancer Society is one of those things that I think is away, not here. So you brought home a face for all of us, I think, for the American Cancer Society. And I appreciate all the work that it does nationally, but locally too. The Lifesaver Program and the Pilots Club for sponsoring the Alzheimer's and autism, thank you, whatever it's scared to death. My reflexes are still good, right? But most families are being touched by cancer, but so many of us are now being touched by dementia and Alzheimer's and autism. So I think we had a very informative, very warm program that makes us think. And it's something we all need to get along. Thank you very much. I'll go back on script, Kirk. At this time, we want to recognize the new chamber members, and I'm told that we have one here today. And if you'll stand, it's Kevin Robinson with My Home Living Assistance. Thank you for being a member of the chamber. Let me tell you, I encourage you to get involved with the chamber and find a niche, get involved on a committee. The chamber is beneficial as far as you get involved with it.
I already had a 2-hour meeting with it.
Oh, okay. I won't say anymore. We have door prizes from the Center for Wound Healing. If you want to come down the way, and we'll give away door prizes.